When Sarah's husband returned from a military mission with a life-altering injury, she decided to dump him, leaving him heartbroken and his world shattered. Sarah was determined to move on quickly, but destiny had a surprise. Just a few days later, her face turns pale after making a stunning discovery. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Sarah and Jack had been high school sweethearts. They had known each other ever since they were young, and after getting into a relationship, they knew they would never want someone else. To the celebration of everyone, they got married soon after high school had finished. They imagined their marriage to last their lifetime, but that didn't seem to be the case. At first, it seemed to work, but at one point, some challenges were too difficult to face alone. It started to sprout doubt. With his deployments and irregular working schedule, where he sometimes couldn't be home for multiple months, her need for him to be home became larger. Questions inked with doubt started to circulate through her mind more often. What if they were to have children? What if a loved one died? The longest they had been without each other was 14 months straight, and the shortest was 3 months. It was a torture. Sarah was unsure if she could endure it any longer. She had made up her mind as he neared the end of his 4th deployment. She was still young, and she could possibly still find someone else who could provide her the life that she wanted, of that she was sure. The one thing that she had left to do was tell him. She had been fidgeting with her wedding ring since she had parked her car outside the military facility. She had only gotten a text from him saying he had been returned sooner than anticipated. Sarah had thought nothing of it, and it didn't want her to change her course of action either. The reason she had been fidgeting with her ring was so that she wouldn't crumple the divorce papers. However, as she walked up to see Jack, she was stunned by an astonishing sight. She couldn't believe what she saw. How could he not have told her this? Why would he let her find this out here? On the other side of the glass, Sarah saw her husband, but not in a way she had seen him before. He had become shorter, which might have been a crude thing to think. Still, she couldn't help herself. He had done nothing to prepare her for this moment. Sarah opened, or nearly slammed open, the door at the sight of her husband in a wheelchair. Her face was red with anger, not at the circumstances they were now in, but at the fact that he had chosen not to say anything to her about it. "Why didn't you tell me?" she spat, demanding an answer from him. One hand balled into a fist and the other clutching the divorce papers. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I was afraid of your reaction and that you would leave me." Jack's voice trembled slightly as he looked up at her. Sarah's eyes filled with tears that were hot from her anger. "I was going to leave you regardless," Sarah said, venom in her voice. "I don't want to see you right now. Contact me when you have signed the papers," Sarah said, before turning her heel and leaving Jack in the facility, not knowing that that would be the biggest mistake of her life. Days after signing the divorce papers, Sarah tried to move forward, but the memories of her last encounter with Jack kept haunting her relentlessly. Guilt gnawed at her heart, and second thoughts plagued her mind. Sarah threw herself into work and social activities with a fervor she hadn't known before. She hoped to distract herself from the emotional turmoil that had consumed her since their separation. The busyness offered a temporary escape, but deep down, she knew it couldn't silence the relentless ache in her heart. Sleepless nights became her new reality as Sarah lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. One day, while cleaning and going through old belongings, Sarah stumbled upon an old photo book hidden in the back of a closet. Its pages were filled with candid snapshots of her and Jack from their younger carefree days. As she opened it, a flood of emotions and nostalgia washed over her, catching her by surprise. The photo book served as a poignant reminder of the love that had once defined their relationship. It was a love story filled with hope and boundless devotion. The photo book became a catalyst for Sarah to reflect on the depth of her past love for Jack. Did she truly understand the man Jack had become? She realized the beautiful love story she had left behind and contemplated whether it was too late to make amends. Sarah's emotions were in turmoil, a swirling maelstrom of desire and fear. She yearned to reconnect with Jack, to mend what was broken between them. But the fear of rejection loomed large in her mind. In a moment of vulnerability, Sarah found herself dialing Jack's number, her heart pounding in her chest. However, when he answered, she found him withdrawn and distant, the wounds from her past actions still fresh and painful. Her heart sank as she realized the road to reconciliation might be far more challenging than she had anticipated. Sarah's attempt at a conversation with Jack didn't go as planned. Both of them were guarded, uncertain about where to start. Sarah turned to a close friend or therapist for guidance and support. She laid bare the depth of her mistakes and the pain that had resulted from her actions. Through their conversations, she started to see the magnitude of the hurt she had caused and the long road ahead to make amends. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah's hopes for reconciliation began to fade. At an event where she met her friends and Jack's old colleagues and fellow soldiers, she discovered a well-kept secret. They spoke animatedly about how Jack constantly talked about her when they were deployed, his willingness to accept deployments to secure their future comfort, and his unwavering commitment to saving the lives of comrades, even at the cost of his own ability to walk. Overwhelmed with regret, Sarah set out to find Jack, realizing that there was much more to his sacrifice than she had ever known. The stories she heard about Jack's heroism and unwavering loyalty to her deeply moved Sarah. She started to see Jack in a new light, not just as her estranged husband, but as a selfless, devoted partner who had made extraordinary sacrifices for their future together. Her understanding of their marriage deepened, and she felt a growing sense of admiration and gratitude for the man she had almost lost. Armed with this newfound understanding, both Sarah and Jack took a critical look at their feelings and the reality of what their marriage had become. They confronted hard truths about themselves and each other, acknowledging the mistakes and misjudgments that had driven them apart. Sarah and Jack finally had an open and honest conversation about their past and their feelings. The weight of their unspoken grievances lifted as they bared their souls to each other. The wounds of the past started to heal as they embarked on a journey of rediscovery, determined to rebuild their love. The love that had once been buried beneath layers of hurt and resentment began to resurface, breathing new life into their relationship. Sarah and Jack began to envision a life where their love could flourish, where the mistakes of the past would serve as a foundation for a stronger and more resilient future together. Their love burned brighter than ever before, radiating warmth and passion in their hearts. They cherished every moment they spent together, savoring the depth of their connection. Sarah and Jack's love story took a new turn, one filled with forgiveness, understanding, and a profound appreciation for each other.